What's going on, everybody? My name is Ben and welcome back to the bench for another episode here in our AJ-1 Savage. Today we're going to jump in there, do some painting, some priming, work on the photo etch. We're going to get this thing looking a bit more detailed, get a nice coat of paint there for the fuselage as well as the wheelbase, so we've got a lot of work to do. Let's go ahead and just jump right on in. Now last time I did a lot of wiring with different diameters of wire and solder and all that good stuff, so that is ready for painting, but first we got to prime everything. Once I get it all primed, we'll come in with our base coat of Vallejo interior green, and then we can go ahead and get that nicely painted up, let it dry, work on the nacelles as well, get those buttoned up, and then we'll move over and do some sub-assemblies for our main wheels, maybe the nose gear as well, to get ready for next episode. So let's go ahead and jump in there to our first time lapse. Let's do some painting, some priming. Let's get this party started. Alright, so we have now the entire fuselage cockpit painted up in a Vallejo interior green. Everything is dry. We are ready to go ahead and start doing some detail painting. And for that, we're going to jump in there with some Tamiya flat black. And I'm going to go ahead and go over all of the switches, the panels, all of the major equipment in there, using some flat black to go ahead and make those pop out at you. And then of course the instrument panels, the front coping, any switches and dials there on the side consoles. I really want to make sure that we have all the parts nicely painted, and Tamiya flat black is a perfect color for this. Plus this is a brand new bottle, so it should go on nice and smooth. So we're going to jump into our next time lapse and continue doing that detail painting. Pick out certain areas with maybe red, then maybe some white switches. Based again on my references. I don't have color references, so I'm just going to be basically going off of black and white photos. But I have enough information to say that probably we had some lighter switches. We had some red areas there, so I'm going to go ahead and just play around with it, see what I can do. After I get all of that done, we're going to switch over and start installing our PE parts. So let's go ahead and jump back into our time lapse. Keep on moving. Let's go ahead and do some detail painting and see if we can make this cockpit come to life. Let's get into it. everybody, we are back and we've been moving along here with the photo etch parts. We've got our detail painting mostly done. I might want to add in a few more switches here and there, but I think we're in a good position to go ahead and start working on the seats and getting those nicely installed. Now I have to say I'm not a huge fan of photo etch, but in this case it does add a nice little bit of detail. Instrument panel looks a lot better than it did out of the kit, and the main reason I wanted this was for the seat belts. There's a very large clear canopy, so you're going to see a lot of those parts and pieces, especially the seats, so I wanted to have something to look at in there. And the photo etch seat belts are awesome. So let's go ahead and jump back in. We're going to finish off the seats, get all the PE installed, and then I want to put together the engine nacelles, get those ready for maybe next episode where we'll do some cleanup and get them hopefully tacked onto the wings. So let's go ahead and jump back into the time lapse, finish it off today, and see how we do. All right, everybody, we are back, and so far so good, guys. We've got our photo etch installed, we put together our engine nacelles, and that actually went together decently, but we do have a bit of a step between the right and the left side, so that's going to be some sanding, seam filling, some rescribing, and all that stuff. So not really looking forward to that. The landing gear looks great, though, with all the detail I added in, and also with the kit parts as well. We've got both the right and left side done, so that's good. We can go ahead and clean them up next episode. For the fuselage, that is where I had the most fun. The bombardier navigator area, plus the radio operator and the pilot area, all of those are fully detailed, as much as I can do at least, primed, painted, photo etches in there. We did some detail painting on wiring. We added in some panel line accent just for some extra shadow. We can zoom in here and you can check out some of the details. I tried to add in this bulkhead right here. It was a little wonky to get in there, but I was able to kind of wedge it in there and glue it down, so that is good. As you can see, we have some extra PE parts we've tacked on to these little radio equipment boxes. Don't know if it's 100% accurate, but again, you're not going to see a whole lot in there anyway. So just in case, I wanted to add something that might spark a little bit of interest. On the seats, we have added in basically a seat pad, and I see those in my references, so I decided to use a piece of paper towel and to go ahead and make some seat cushions out of there. So I like that. It's not perfect. I also did that on the front seats as well. And I tried to add in a little bit of differences with the seat belts. On the pilot, I had the seat belts come up and over the armrest. And for the bombardier navigator position, I had his seat belts come up underneath the armrest. So yeah, I think they look pretty good. You can see some of the detail painting I did. I added in some red switches, some red dials, some white switches and dials as well. So I wanted to add in a little bit of extra interest, and I think we pulled it off just fine. You see these little viewfinders here for the bombardier navigator position. I actually made it out of the plastic tubing on a cotton swab. That I think worked out beautifully. I just went ahead and cut it down to size, smushed them a little bit so that they have more of an egg shape to them, and then glued them down. Not perfect, but they are way better than what comes in the kit. The instrument panel itself has so much detail on it. I really like the fact that we've got that detail right there. The side consoles though, I thought the kit parts were fine on that, so I just went ahead and painted them up, added in details and wires, and I think they look pretty good. Other side of the cockpit, we added in more switches and dials. I actually picked out details in white and red, and then I added in some gray wires coming out of different switch boxes and things like that. I don't know if that's the actual color, but I think it looks pretty cool. Our photo edge here, we've dropped it into place, and unfortunately, some of these are not going to be seen at all because the bulkhead is going to be right there, but no worries. Even so, I still think it was a great addition, and I really like how this has turned out. But that is it, guys. We are finally at a point where we have our nacelles built up, our fuselage is nicely detailed, painted, weathered just a tiny bit. We've got our engine ready to go as well, so I think next episode we can come back in, work on that nose gear, and then get everything buttoned up and see what it looks like. So yeah, I'm actually really enjoying this kit so far. The parts out of the kit are very nicely detailed. Fit has been a little iffy here and there, but for the most part, we are coming along. And I think we are shaping up nicely for episode number 5, where we should be able to get everything buttoned up and get this thing looking like a savage. So until our next episode, everybody, thank you so much for watching. You know the drill. Get out there, get yourself some bench time, have some fun, build something cool, and we'll see you back here on episode 5 of our AJ-1 Savage here on Military Mondays. Thanks for watching, everybody. Take care of yourselves, and we'll see you soon.